How about in terms of the Dr. Nyaim said it very well that KMA has had different waves. That there was in the 60s and the early 70s was the Asian wave,
Yes.
and then I think you represented the second wave, and the likes of Professor Dr. Marogo in the 90s. So, what would you say characterizes these different phases that KMA has gone through?
I think partly deliberate by prime movers. I think each time there were prime movers who came forward and felt something needs to be done. You get triggered and then you do something. Yeah? So we got triggered and said we will take KMA out of the Asian hands. And we did. Now, during the Rogo and their time, what had happened at that time was that if you look back at the history of Kenya Medical Association and the doctors in general in this country, every 10 years we used to go on strike. So we went on strike in 1971. We went on strike in 1981. We went on strike in 1991. Every 10 years. The reason is in between those strikes, we would have 10 years of intense dialogue, and you're talking to a stone wall of a government that did not want to respond to anything. When we went on strike in 71, it's because we had formed a committee, and we would go to Afia House, and we had a permanent secretary there. I don't want to mention his name, but he kept saying, "Oh, you've come. Okay, talk. And we had given him already a full dose of what we wanted. And he would say, I will look into it and come back in about 6 weeks. You go back in 6 weeks' time, and he says, okay, talk. And we got fed up with that kind of thing. Not only that, 71 is when the Nego Commission was commissioned. Nurses put in their thing, clinical officers put in their thing, and we took opportunity and brought a very powerful dossier of ours. And we gave it to this permanent secretary, who did not forward it to Nego. When the Nego Commission came out, minus the doctors, we were furious. We wanted to kill him. And he says, listen, look at the nurses. They gave me a document, I did not alter it. Clinical officers, they gave me one, I did not alter it. If you guys gave me one, I would not have altered it. Hey. So this permanent secretary never gave ours. That was enough. We went on strike. Because we were left out. And the next commission maybe will come 10 years from now, So there was an upheaval, there was a volcano at that time. And you may not even believe it. We were even charged for treason at that time. Reason, we went against the government. We went against the president. Until, luckily, President Kenyatta himself intervened and said, no, the doctors are talking about their rights. They are not talking about being against me. So we were released. But the charge was either death or life imprisonment. But he squashed it and said, no. Don't push it in that direction. These guys want something. If we can give, we give. If we can't, we tell them we can't. So he pardoned us. Yeah? Okay, so we go back. We were very happy. Our president took away the rope around the neck and we start again. And for the next 10 years, we were still fighting until now it came the Rogo and Nyakal and so on, young ago. When they found that they were not being listened to, another upheaval, they went on strike. I was called at about 5:30 or 6 a.m. in the morning. I was in the house. I had joined the university by that time. The Minister for Internal Security at that time, calls me. He was a friend of mine. He used to call me Ndugu. So he says, Ndugu, are you part of this again? I said, part of what? He said, you don't know, the doctors have gone on strike. As of last night, they went on strike. I said, listen, I'm not part of it. First of all, I'm now in the university. I'm not in the Ministry of Health anymore, but I'm happy if they went on strike. So if it's a question of sympathy, I am with them. Why can't you guys as a government listen to these young ones? If they are crying, there's a reason why they are crying. Don't just condemn them the way you condemned us. Go and talk to them. So he says, will you go and talk to them? I said, yes, of course I'll go and talk to them. So we used to meet in the middle of the night in Uhuru Park because there was nobody listening there. Ask Rogo and Mikal, they'll tell you. They would come and, Abdullah, and we would agree, and we plotted, and we did whatever we wanted to do. So there was that upheaval of these young ones who wanted to do something, and us as sympathetic elders who agreed with them. So in those times, when we felt there was room for an agenda to go through, then the elders would go to Afia House. Professor Guibo and myself and Ogada and so on. And we'll go there to office of the president and negotiate quietly and so on. Lakini tukisikia hii maneno, like, you know, they're not listening to us, these guys who say, no, we know what we're going to do with them. Nyika, twende. Rogo, twende. You know, Nyarango, twende. You bring these young guys and we say, look, say it the way it's coming out of your heart. And we would go there and they would go, bah, bah, you know, the way they want. In fact, I remember one of them telling, at that time the permanent secretary was Kialo. He said, Kialo, you know why you are not listening to us? It's because you wanted to do medicine, you failed and you left the medical school, now you are frustrating the doctors. And we left and it was hot. So then we would release these guys and then we'll tell the government, you know, they're young. You know, they should not have said it that way. But we took them deliberately to say that. So that was that wave you're talking about, of call it patriotism, call it uzalendo, and we needed them to come and say it the way it is. And then it will be below my dignity for me to say things like that. But I thank these young ones and they do. I was amazed by the energy and the power that these youngsters had. You send them for an assignment, they go and do it, and they do it so thoroughly. We wanted an insurance scheme in this country. They went and got documents from India, from Australia, from everywhere. I probably would say, maybe even me, I wouldn't have been able to get. So we had potential in these young ones. If you could harness that energy, it takes you far. And indeed, it took us far. So those waves that you're talking about, that's how they came, in my opinion, to take us to where we are today. And now I can see the newer waves now, where there's both KMA and the union taking us maybe to another level. So we keep going up, a step at a time, but we're going up.
Oh, wow. It's an excellent story, Professor.
I told you.
Yeah.
Very good. So I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I think we now would want him to give us the future.
Yeah, the future.
You see now, you